Welcome back to Building a Main. Last episode we completed the vampire storyline to unlock the Sun Spear, as well as unlocking Invention to pair with it. In this episode we're going to be making use of those unlocks, while also working towards 3 new PVM related unlocks for the account. The first of these unlocks is Ancient Curses, most notably the tier 95 curses of Turmoil, Anguish, and Torment. These require us to complete the temple at Senntisten and get 95 prayer. This path also unlocks the ancient spellbook through Desert Treasure. The second unlock we need to get is Overloads. This is a potion requiring 96 herb lore that gives a static buff to all combat styles for its duration. It can also be combined with other potions to increase its dosage or give it other useful effects. And finally, we're going for Ancient Invention. Unlike an Iron Man, we won't need to get the archaeology level or the blueprint fragments for this, as we are able to buy the blueprints off the Grand Exchange, but we will need 85 invention to start utilizing it. So with our goals laid out, let's get to work. Before we dive into that, I want to know a bit more about those of you following along. So let's start off with which RuneScape you play, if at all. Let me know in the comments if you play RS3, Old School, neither, or both. And also, what your current goals are for either of them. We're tackling curses first, so I tallied up all the skill requirements for Temple at Senntisten and its requirements, and the only one we're missing is 66 thieving. So we're back at the doors for the final time to get 62 thieving for all of the Thieves Guild mini-quests. And there we go, the Thieves Guild mini-quests are all done. With a guild of our own, and that gets us to 63 thieving. And now we have access to safe cracking, so I'm going to go quickly grab the supplies for that. Okay, so we've got our stethoscope and our looting bag, so now we're just going to go around and safe crack the Mistflin safes. Don't know if this is actually any faster than doors, but it's a lot more chill and enjoyable. It will be pretty good money at the later levels, and it's a pretty good way to train thieving all the way to 99. So that'll be something we do in the future. Okay, this turn-in should get us 66 thieving. There we go. Which is all the levels we need for Curse of Arav and, by extension, Temple at Senntisten. As a combination of this nice loot tab that we've got, keeping up with our daily shop runs, and the profit we made from herblore and crafting training, again, quite surprised by that, we've managed to amass a 300 mil bank value. The goal for the series is to get up to 2 bill, so we're well on the way there. I've completed Edgar's Ruse, which gives us the Trollheim teleport spell. It's not directly required for Temple at Senntisten, but we need to go up to Trollheim a bunch anyway, so doing this first out of all of the Trollheim quests means we minimize the amount of times we need to run up there. A lot of the quest requirements for Temple at Senntisten don't really unlock much of significance, so I'm just going to rapid fire them off here. We completed Troll Romance, Missing My Mummy, Tale of the Muspa, The Tourist Trap, The Lost Tribe, Wanted, and Devious Minds. Of these, the most interesting lore-wise to me is Tale of the Muspa, but we'll need to see how it's elaborated on later to understand why. And Curse of Arav complete. Not as long of a quest as I remember it being. Maybe I'm remembering a different one and mixing it up. But that gained us a bunch of XP, got us a mining level, and probably almost a thieving level. Not quite. Thieving level is getting a bit long now. But yeah, next up is Desert Treasure. Okay, while doing the Desert Treasure quest, I had to come and talk to this guy, and he gave us the Codex Ultimatus, which gave us all the tendril abilities unlocked. I can't remember what this is a reward from, but I'm assuming we didn't have 75 combat stats when we did it. So I can now destroy this. Grab my steel bar again, and no, I want to continue with Desert Treasure. I'm not sure why the wiki recommends having like a full inventory of food for this fight, because this is not even remotely. Yeah, I didn't use anything. I lost food by bringing it. Is he not supposed to... Ah, right, yeah, you have to go back to the vampire for the diamond. And that's the ice diamond. The wiki is really overselling these fights, but that's the smoke diamond. I brought nothing but a full inventory of lockpicks, and I managed to get it on the last one. I am so glad I didn't have to go like 100 lockpicks for this. And there's the shadow diamond. So we'll go prepare for the pyramid now. No way, we just got a scarab spawn and I thought I triggered a trap right at the end. We're safe. We only failed one time, which, considering we're at minus 2 kilograms, is kind of surprising. And now we have completed Desert Treasure, which unlocks ancient magics, gives us our 200 quest points, so we can go visit May and get some dice. And we get the Bandit Camp teleport, which I believe we have to go activate, or is it already activated? Okay, the Bandit Camp is already activated. Okay, I must have forgot to claim the dice at 175 quest points because we got 2. And our first one is 500k and Ancient Robe Legs, which is another fortunate component. And Ancient Robe Top. Interesting combo to get, and 1 mil coins. So yep, the only thing left on our agenda is Temple at Senntisten. Okay, unfortunately we're only at 98 kudos and we need 125, so I'm going to do the specimen cleaning for a little bit. Okay, we've got all the kudos from cleaning finds, so it's time to start the temple quest. Okay, let's see what loot we get from our Barrows run. Just the Barrows icon, okay. And that is Temple at Senntisten complete. And now we have access to curses, which unfortunately aren't particularly useful until you get to 92 and then 95 prayer, because all else that's really useful is the deflect prayers, which are buffed up versions of the protection prayers, but you then lose access to piety and augury, etc. So until we get up to at least 92, maybe 95, we're going to be sticking with the normal spellbook. So now we've primarily got to focus on leveling some skills. We've got to get our Herblore up, our Prayer up, and our Invention up. Invention we're going to do by just doing Slayer tasks with the Sunspear. And Herblore, I need to do some research to see if there's any profitable ways of training that won't take too long. Because summoning potions, while great profit, was quite slow XP. Okay, so I was just using up all the keys from the quest, and this reward just popped up, the Spring Cleaner. I remember this being something I had to make with Invention on my Iron Man. Okay, I looked up what it takes to make. It really doesn't take all that much. Taking it here is not much of an advantage, so I am just going to claim it. Okay, so I just decided to check the level required to craft the Spring Cleaner, and it's at level 43 Invention. So as a self-imposed restriction, I just won't use the Spring Cleaner until we get to 43 Invention. Okay, so I've done a bit of research, and Ceridome and Bruise seem to be the way to go for training Herblore while striking a good balance between cost, or in this case, some amount of profit, nowhere near as much as summoning potions, but striking that balance between cost and speed. So I've got about 10k Cerebrew's worth of materials. I'll obviously get some procs and stuff, but this will be my new mobile task and just something I'm going to work through over time on my phone. And I'm probably going to do a bunch of it now, but this is going to take quite a while to make this many potions. As for what I'm going to be doing in the remaining active time that I've got this weekend, I am going to be knocking out some of the prerequisite quests for Plague's End. So we're going to start with Big Chompy Bird Hunting. And that's Big Chompy Bird Hunting complete. I have very weird memories of this quest, but it's Way simpler than anything I remember. So that's good. And that is Morning Ends Part 1 complete, which can only mean that we're also doing Morning's End Part 2. And I'll be honest, I was expecting that to take way longer than it did. You can see I got an extra bunyip pouch, but I only used like 25 minutes on the one bunyip. This quest is not anywhere near as bad as I remember it being, or anywhere near as bad as like anyone jokes about. It's not like a 2-hour puzzle or anything. The wiki kind of suggests that it is by saying that you extend a BOB for like 2 hours. It's just not needed. But yep, this gives us access to Death Rune crafting, access to some Dark Beasts for when we get the Slayer level for those, and Within the Light complete. So we now just have one more quest requirement for Prifddinas, plus a few skill levels. Okay, admittedly I forgot about this quest. This one's required for Plague's End, so now we only have one quest requirement for Prifddinas. Okay, so I've used one of my weekly D&D reset tokens to do 2 runs of familiarization this week. Gets us a bunch of summoning reagents and 2 pieces of the shaman's outfit. So I'll be doing this 2 more weeks in the row in the future to get the full shaman's outfit and the add-on. And yeah, it's not too bad without full run energy or without infinite run energy. It's just slower. It's not really difficult. So I wouldn't worry about having to have as a first resort done before doing that. Okay, so halfway through our Dagannoth King's Reaper for today, it's time for our Sunspear Dismantle. We're only dismantling a level 5 because that's all we can reach so far, and we're dismantling it as a magic staff because this will give us powerful components, whereas the ranged and melee ones don't give too many useful components. So we'll disassemble, and that gets us to 23. But now we need to go reclaim our Sunspear, which we do from Ivan in Prifddinas. Okay, so we finished making all the unfinished potions. Now we just need to do all of that again to actually make the Sarah Brews. But we are going to get so many out of this. 12,500 Sarah Brews later, we're at 91, almost 92 herb lore. And this is actually the level where we can pretty comfortably make overloads either with stew boosts by doing Evil Dave's Big Day Out, or just by using the Pulse Core boost, which you get pretty consistently in World 84. So I'm going to go sell these Sarah Brews, and I'm going to buy a bunch of supplies to start making some overloads. Here we go, making the first overloads on the account. I'm going to try not to use too many of them until we unlock Holy Overloads. They're really good for efficiency. They turn your 4-dose overloads into 6-dose overloads just for a prayer renewal. So I'm going to try not to use too many until we get to there, so I'm not going to use them for Slayer. However, with access to overloads, we basically have no fear of getting some of the harder Reaper tasks. Stuff like Vindicta and everything are going to be more than open to us now that we've got a much better combat potion. There we go, 96 overload 4s. So each dose lasts 6 minutes, so it's going to be just over 2,000 minutes of overload. So plenty for all the PVM we could want to get up to, but as I said, you massively you increase the efficiency by about 50% by turning them into holy overloads using prayer renewals. But yeah, that requires us to get Plague's End done, which is why we've been working towards that. And that's the sight you want to see in the morning. Okay, so we've picked up the supplies for 75 summoning and 75 prayer, which is going to be 981 Dust Devil pouches, I think they're called, and 404 Inferno Ashes in the Wildy Chaos Altar. So the plan for summoning, which I'm going to do first, is to use the Spirit Kayak pouch to teleport to the obelisk, and the War's Retreat teleport to get back to a bank. And 75 summoning complete. I'm gonna use up the rest of the supplies. I overbought goat horn dust, unfortunately. And here we go, 75 prayer. So the only requirement we've got left for Plague City is 75 agility. Okay, shameless admittance time. I just lamped the last agility level. I had like 60k XP to go, so I just decided to throw the lamps in it. And all of our Sarah brews from leveling up Herblore have now sold, so we get to collect a nice 48 mil, and that puts our cash stack up to 127 mil. And that is the Dark Lord defeated. And that is Plague's End complete. So we get 50k XP and all the requirements. We get a title, we get a thieving outfit, I believe, and we unlock the Elf City Prifddinas. Okay, so for a quick rundown of Prifddinas, it's a city split up into 8 clans, with each clan focusing on some skills. Clan Chris? Not really sure how to pronounce that. Primarily focus on farming. Mailir have a herblore focus. Hefin have agility and prayer. Amlod are summoning. Ifil are crafters. Ioworth are kind of like slayers, would be the best way to explain it. Trihan are miners and smithers. Kadan are primarily rangers and mages. And each hour, 2 of the districts are empowered by something called the Voice of Seren, which buffs skilling in those areas. A common way to get your prayer level up on an Iron Man is to use Hefin hours to use cleansing crystals. Ifil hour is something that will be useful to us at the start, because Ifil have a training method for training crafting at a rate of about 55k an hour. It's pretty slow, but very AFK crafting training, and it doesn't require any supplies. So again, it's pretty common on Iron Man. And playing these harps will get you harmonic dust, which you can use to create crystal tools, or as we will later do, create the attuned crystal teleport seed, which allows you to infinitely teleport around this place with no charges. So yeah, we've got a few things we can take part in here. It's not as important unlocking this place on the main account compared to an Iron Man account, but it is something very nice to have access to. And here's a daily moneymaker that we don't yet have access to. I don't think I have the mining level for this. No, I need to get 81 mining, which we're not too far off. But you mine this every day, and you can get 50 sandstone a day and sell the flasks that you make out of that sandstone. And there's a similar one in Uglog, which is just for regular flasks. Yeah, this is Prifddinas, and we'll probably end up doing quite a bit here in the future, especially since it's where one of our Slayer Masters is, Morvran. And that's going to wrap up this episode. One thing I didn't mention is that Clan Mailir gives us access to combination potions, including the Holy Overload. So we now have one of the best potions for use in Slayer. And on the note of Slayer, we're almost ready to begin our Great Slay Venture. With Holy Overloads and the tier 95 curses, we get a huge buff to our Slayer efficiency, so expect to see some of that shortly. As always, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope to catch you all again next time.